Hey everybody, this is Steve Yasukawa with my critical analysis of the science fiction fantasy book Refraction by Naomi Hughes. So Naomi Hughes is a self-described Ravenclaw, Whovian, and INTJ. She's a school librarian and author of YA sci-fi fantasy with mental health representation. And she wants people who have mental illnesses to know that they are main characters too. When she's not writing, she enjoys surviving the Midwest, reading, gaming, anime, and traveling. Um, Reviews of this book specifically, Kirkus says it reads like an Arthur C. Clarke Stephen King collaboration set in Silent Hill. Fans of dark sci-fi fantasy will enjoy. I agree with the dark sci-fi, both the literal and figurative dark. SLJ calls it a first contact dystopia with hints of Stephen King's The Mist. Hughes's own voices novel featuring a hero with obsessive compulsive disorder is an engaging addition to the genre. And I'll get to strengths and weaknesses later, but there are no reviews on Common Sense Media. We need diverse books or a diverse book finder. So, my summary is that this would be appropriate for grades 9 through 12th. Marty Callahan is one of only a few thousand survivors of an alien invasion. A fog filled with lethal creatures surrounds his town, and only rumors exist of survivors elsewhere around the world. Creatures can enter the town through mirrors, but only if the survivors look directly into them. Allegory. All this is not what makes Marty's life hard, though. His mom has never really been present. His older brother is trapped an ocean away in London, and his obsessive compulsive disorders, intrusive thoughts consistently put his life in danger. Marty befriends his former captor. We'll meet Elliot a little later, and they form a bit of a bromance. Naomi Hughes' word, not mine. And they learn that their whole world is being made up of their collective fears as a society. The alien ship meant to help humans, but humans were unable to use the power for anything other than destruction. It's up to Marty, with the help of his friend and the alien ship, to save humanity and no longer live as an outlaw. This comes from the very end of the book. So super spoilers, but you're watching this, so you don't have to read it. So this is the ship talking in the first part. The ship had called itself Mirage, saying that was the best translation. And the ship is the alien force, the alien being, and it's manifesting itself through the ship itself. And the ship says, I was thinking about it more, going through all the knowledge I've gained from watching the humans, from watching you. And I don't think mirage is the best translation of my name. It's more like refraction, the way fog scatters the lightning, the way a prism breaks the sunshine apart into a rainbow, how a lens can focus light to make things seem bigger or smaller or distorted. That's me. And that's a better word for my abilities too. Then it goes back to Marty. I think about the mirrors in the shared dream, the way we all thought the beings were just alien weapons coming through some portal, when really they were just pieces of ourselves, bits of our own fears, bent and reflected back to us. Or not reflected, refracted. So a bit on the nose, but this is near the very end of the book. For awards, not much has been awarded. The one thing that came up was the Oklahoma Library Association's Sequoia Book Award. It was on the master list. So this is a book, an award that students vote for, and so librarians put together a master list, and then students vote for the book, the books to win. They vote on their top three. This did not win the award, but it was selected as one of the master list. So my overall thoughts were it was really reminiscent of Divergent, Mockingjay, City of Ember, and Stranger Things, like that kind of like darkness and almost like I mean, it's science fiction, but it's also like low fantasy, like realistic situation, not realistic situation, realistic environment, with a little bit of not magic, but unexpected alien presence. Um, so it's the those folks will appreciate the world building and the deadly unknowns shrouded in shadow, like the Stranger Things and like the Mutations and Hunger Games. Although dystopian sci-fi, the book is grounded in the struggles of surviving a toxic society and living with OCD. The linear timeline, but unpredictable story makes this ideal for reluctant sci-fi readers. So I say this creative premise is less about the aliens and more about facing one's demons by recognizing reality and developing trusting relationships or bromances, as it were. This allegory for mental health is a welcome addition to any high school collection. So for strengths, I thought that in terms of developmental levels, this really gets a lot of things right. One of the things is the role of identity and that like struggle to define oneself. So two different part or one part here from page 132. I think I'm as scared of my OCD getting bad again as I am of this damn fog making my fears actually come true. How messed up is that? So that is Marty speaking, and then Elliot, his like new friend, he observes. Elliot doesn't answer. He doesn't give me some insane response like "it's all in your head," as if that should be calling rather than frustrating or terrifying, or it's okay, everyone's a little bit OCD, like the diagnosis is a personality quirk instead of a sometimes debilitating mental disorder. Instead, he just stays quiet and gives me the chance to talk more if I want to. So that kind of realizing uh, he doesn't have to have his identity denied, or his experience minimized. Um, and uh, Another layer of this, from the page shared in the document for the book critiques is said that a weak sense of identity can lead to insecurity, confusion, or even rebellion. That's definitely where Marty's character is coming from. Um, at one point, it says, "The hope strengthens, but I learned a long time ago that hope is much more dangerous than any being, that it can freeze like water over the cracks in your life and burst them open and leave you with less than you had before." Some of the writing is a little bit cheesy, but like this is like is like so good. It's so good. Um, I'm more with identity. A lot of family is not in the picture for either of these characters, mothers specifically. The other character, Elliot, is the mayor's son, and at one point, the mayor um, is talking about exiling Elliot, and she actually exiled Elliot's brother too. So both of her kids she sent off into the fog. Um, and the Marty describes her saying, "Her gaze tightens when she speaks. Her words spark and crackle with tightly controlled emotion. I will do whatever it takes to keep this island safe, including, when necessary, protecting it from my own family." So again, exiling both of her kids, essentially to their death, because of needing to keep the island that she is in charge of safe, that she has mayor on safe. Um, so one of the biggest strengths and arguably weaknesses of this is OCD. It's definitely a key point in Hughes's approach to the book. So a little bit what this looks like says, again, Marty's talking. The anxiety gains strength. A compulsion rears its head. I want to tap this door frame to keep myself safe while I'm inside the arcade. 3 times on the left, 5 on the right, at exactly shoulder height. 3 and 5 are good numbers. 1 is okay too, but it won't keep me as safe as 3 and 5 could. Um, it's just like OCD is so much more than tapping, and I just feel like for kids with OCD, it would not feel like the mirror that they're hoping for. I think a lot of the ways that he describes it, that Marty describes it, or that Hughes is having Marty describe it, are very accurate, from what I understand of OCD. But just like pick something other than tapping. Like it's so much more than that. Um, but overall, the presence of OCD is really helpful. Um, Here is another part. It's again tied to that like sense of identity too. Um, like he has had another compulsion. Now he feels guilty about it. Um, so another strength slash weakness. Strength is that I didn't know what was going to happen. Like there are many YA books are predictable in that I don't exactly know how it's going to get there, but I know this is going to happen. I know this is going to happen. I know this is going to happen. This one, when I was reading it, I was like, I know it was going to be probably going to be a happy ending, but I don't really know what's going to happen next. I have absolutely no idea. So at one point they're in a hospital. At one point they're exiled, and getting on the alien ship was unexpected. So um, that was awesome. But a weakness is like it was so linear. Um, and I think for some readers that could be a strength, and for some readers it's just kind of a slog because it moves a little bit slowly. So you can just take a look at my summary of it. The enemies escape, exile, save the other one, everyone's safe. So they start out at Marty and Elliot start out as enemies, and then almost immediately they depend on each other, but they hate each other. But then they start to appreciate each other, um, and then they help each other, and then they're exiled, and then they discover that whatever they fear or they imagine, they can manifest. And then there's the scorpions. Marty gets stung by a scorpion, like an alien scorpion, um, and Elliot gets shot, and then the alien ship is exploding, and they have to get off the ship. So um, Elliot tries to save Marty, and then Marty saves Elliot, and then Marty saves the alien ship, but then the alien ship saves Marty. So everyone helps everyone, and it's a happy ending, but a little basic. Um, the dialogue's broy weakness, and the narration is a little bit obvious. Get up here if you want to live, douchebag. Um, what did you think we were going to do with it? Just hand it over without asking for anything in return? Yesterday he was my enemy. He was a shadow seeker and I was a mirror deer. But now I don't know what I'm supposed to make of him. Blah 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 blah. Like it very in case you missed it, this is what's happening. And then at the very end, Marty was gonna die on the ship, but then suddenly he looks at the people on the street. And the curtains, the ugly floral curtains, I touch them. They feel real. They feel as familiar as they look because they're my curtains, the curtains that have hung in the house my brother and I have lived in since we were kids. Oh my gosh, I'm back home and I'm with my brother and everyone is safe and Marty's alive too, and Elliot's alive too, and it's just all everyone's happy except the aliens no longer exist, and that's kind of sad. So overall, I think the introduction to sci-fi, and like connecting it to low fantasy, I think are both really good, helping the genres become more accessible. I think the allegory is so clear throughout. Like you can't look in a mirror because then you're gonna see the worst things you can imagine. Like yes, welcome to adolescence. Also censorship, an overly authoritative state, like a little bit fascist, coming of age, realizing it's not all about you. They're decentering, definitely an OCD. Anxiety is a big part of that also. So overall, I recommend it. There's a male protagonist, different family structures. Both kids are pretty much on their own. Lots of cliffhangers. Just know that if you're recommending it, they do say damn shit, douchebag. They say what the but then of course it gets interrupted. Lots of guns, lots of blood, people are killed. And there you have it. So enjoy.